Hi traders, welcome back to the channel. So, in my dealings with other traders, particularly developing traders, there's always this sort of corner cutting that I see, and we all do it. We have lives and things like that, and we really want to focus on the charts. But when it starts to bleed into other member-like forums and accountability groups, these are traders that are really trying to bring their A game to the next level. And when I see either corner cutting or using certain tools in a different way that really shouldn't be used, I kind of raised a red flag. And what I want to talk about today is the importance, the ever so critical importance of journaling. All right. I want to talk a little bit about the one question that you need to ask yourself every time you enter a trade in your journal. Let's get to it. All right, so let's get to this one question. What's so important about this? I want you to ask yourself this one question when you do your journaling. What is this information telling me? All right, that's it. That's really what the basis of journaling is. All right, which leads to the first point and the first takeaway I want to bring up today in this session. Number one, journaling is not about documenting your trades. All right, I know that's a newsflash. All right, it's not. And when I see a lot of people journal, and by the way, give everyone credit who's doing the journaling, because that is the number one corner cutting task in this business, at least what I've seen in my 20 years of doing this. All right, I'm guilty of it too. I'm either late, slow, or like I said, do I ask myself that question? What is this information telling me? All right, but what I see a lot, and we've all done this, where we just, okay, let me put my trades, and I had 3 trades, they document, enter, and okay, I felt pretty good, blah, 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 blah. Okay, next one. That's really not journaling. That's not what journaling is all about. It's really the objective of journaling that I find is being missed. All right, and we'll talk about that in a second. So let's get right to the second takeaway that I want to make sure I cover here. All right, let's be real. Journaling is part of the job description as a trader. There is no corner cutting. If you're at work and you have your job description, right, and you have all these things, and one of them is like a key element to your job, and you just tell your boss, I'm not going to do that part. Probably not going to work out too much longer, all right? But your job as a trader is more than just pushing entry and exit buttons. It's identification, assessing the impact that your decisions have, and the controls that you put in place to make sure they improve or optimize your strategies and things like that, whether it's the actual math or is it yourself, right? That is the risk management process. Identify, assess, control. Identify, assess, control. It's this sort of hamster wheel that we constantly do. That's really what journaling is all about. Now, I want to be very clear. I love the new tech stuff and the tools that are coming out in regards to journaling, all right? They really help bring to light that assessment thing, all right? The identification. Really, really cool stuff. But I have to tell you, and we've had trader psychologists on our podcast several times, and they have said, and this maybe just goes beyond trade journaling, is when you write it down to some type of connection that's made. And I've been doing this for a while, and I really try to rely more and more on technical stuff because just my time is more valuable now. But I have to tell you, I don't get as much of the identification, assessment, and control, the results, the what is my journal telling me. It may tell me some stuff, but is it really telling me the tools and the things that I need? All right. If I have a month and it gives me that daily P&L for each day, oh, okay. I had winning days 18 out of the 24 days. That's great. I would say that's a good month. All right. But I don't know. What did I do? Did I have like a last trade that kind of I pushed it just to get a quote winning day so my TradeZella can show that on the report? All right. It's not really telling you that. But a journal where you do the analytics and say, I need to not cheat myself in that particular example. So I love the tools. I'm all for it. But let's maybe use it in combination where you could have your own old school kind of self-assessment and self-control. I know I'm a boomer in that sense, but maybe a nice little blend will help. Let the tools help you out. But again, the most important takeaway, pay attention to this one, all right? It's really important. This is part of the job. And if you don't do it, quite honestly, I don't know, or even delegate it to have someone else do it. It's part of the job. If you don't want to do it, I have to be blunt, maybe consider a different profession. All right, now one of the last points I want to make here is that when you're doing your actual journal, and again, click on the link below. I'll walk you through the whole thing, show the analytics, and some of the stuff you may not use or some may not apply to you, but at least it will kind of bring to the surface this, identification, assessment, and control methodology to how you can, again, answer that ultimate question. But what I want you to think about when you're doing your journaling is that really in reality, 10 to 15% of journaling is just documenting the stuff. And again, the tools that you have, some of the software tools and the really interesting stuff on the market now can really do that for you. But that's really the 10 to 15%. It's the 85% is the analysis. It's the analytics. It's answering the question, what is my journal telling me? All right. Am I taking trades too early? Should I let trades run? When should I take stiff targets? And when should I, go for sort of trails and stuff like that? These are all questions that documenting your trades is not going to tell you. And one little caveat I have, and I'm going to just throw this in unscripted. All right. Let the producers know that I'm not a big fan of the sort of comment section where it says, I was feeling tired today and this, blah, blah. Like, it's fine. And if you see certain trends, and now with AI tools, you could say, okay, let me identify all the trades that said tired in my comments or something. Okay, I get it. But combine that or tag that to some type of thing where it can be quantified. Say 1 to 6 as far as sleep. All right, great sleep, number 1. 6, horrible, I was up all night. Second, distraction, 1 to 5. And now you could put analytics, say, how are my results when my sleep score was low, 4 to 6 or something, or when I was being bogged down, or, the boss was bringing a jerk today, or I just wasn't focused, 1 to 5. Now you quantify that sort of, core psychological component as opposed to this thing. And I see a lot of the things. And by the way, I praise everyone who's doing journaling because quite honestly, 70% of the people, when I ask for the journal, don't give it to me. So I want to praise the 30% who are doing it. So now you got the mojo, you got the mindset. Now let's bring it to the next level by really using the analytics in your journal to tell you what you need to do and what you need to prove on and what basically you're crushing it. Don't do or don't change a thing. All right. I hope you enjoyed this one. A little tough talk, but I really want to bring this next level. I want to congratulate the people. And I've been in accountability groups where I'm looking and saying, I'm not crazy about this journal approach, but I want to commend them for doing it. All right. And there was, one person I was speaking with that, he was so happy that he did his journal for 30 days in a row. Kudos. That's what, let's do another 30 atomic habits, take it small. And now let's bring it to another level where we say, okay, now I'm not just going to document my journal. I'm going to really find out what my journal is telling me. All right, I hope you enjoyed this one on a Monday morning. I'm seeing more red on my screen. I'm not happy about that. All right, maybe I have to look at my journal and see what I can do. All right, I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time.